on the day I die, I'll go heaven. That's when I get to see God and go like, hey, God, why do you create me? What was I supposed to do? Right? Until that day, then I'll find out my true reason and purpose. But for now, based on best guess, what is one thing that I do that even on my worst day, I do it better than other people on their best day?
That's a good question.
And that is anytime I have some people or even one person in front of me who ask important questions and that I can add value. That's the reason. That's the purpose.
The Connect Coaching Unplugged.
Good morning, world. It is Kallum and Conor here with the Connect Coaching Unplugged number 28. And we're very excited today because we have two of our favorite trainers from around the world. We have Billy Kueek, who is based in Singapore but is a global citizen, and Billy is an NLP master trainer amongst corporate trainer and other specialties. And we have the wonderful Kit, who is also an NLP master trainer. Kit is home is in Malaysia, but like Billy, is a global citizen as well. Welcome to Unplugged number 28. And I'll let Cal tell the world a little bit more about you in detail.
Thank you both for being here. I'm going to introduce Billy first. Billy is a trainer of master trainers and of master coaches. Transforming people, inspiring lives is the maxim that drives master trainer and international motivational speaker, Billy Kueek, on his continuing quest to empower you so that you can empower others as well. With over 26 years in the industry, Billy has inspired, motivated, and coached and trained over 1 million professionals worldwide. Wow. In over 50 countries across varied industries to reach their potential and live their dreams. Billy's approach and passion is evident as he delivers his wide repertoire of topics that includes customized sales and negotiation trainings, leadership and motivation, as well as influencing and presenting, creative thinking, and NLP, and 50 other programs. He's got no shortage of programs that he can deliver. His client list includes world-class organizations, MNCs, and top achievers of the industry. Billy is widely acknowledged as the trainer of master trainers and master coaches, having trained thousands of trainers and speakers from public classes, numerous companies, and organizations all over the world. A firm believer of continuous learning, Billy is the first certified hypnotherapy master trainer in Southeast Asia by the American Board of Hypnotherapy. He also has the unique achievement of being the world's first certified NLP master trainer by both the American Board of NLP and the NLP University, placing him as a leading NLP master trainer and hypnotherapy master trainer in the world. Billy holds a degree in organizational psychology, an MBA, and a doctorate degree in business administration. His professional certificates also include NLP Master Trainer in Hypnotherapy, Master Trainer in Timeline Therapy, Administrator of various personality profile tools, and an instructor in emotional intelligence, 6 seconds, and many more. Also, we have with us Lim Kit Wan. Without passion, life is only motion. This is what one of the quotes from Dr. Billy Kueek. This quote by her mentor, Billy, perfectly sums up Kit in all that she does, whether she is speaking in front of an audience of 10 or more thousand people, during trainers or writing, or just cooking dinner for friends. Her passion is unmistakable. Kit is a social entrepreneur with a desire to change the world one child at a time. She believes in making a difference in others in everything that she does, and she utilizes the techniques, skills, and knowledge she has learned over the years to help others in the best way that she can be. Her passion to share her knowledge has led to becoming a trainer to inspire and empower audiences in a wide range of topics, including NLP, including timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, communication, presenting, and other skills that all entrepreneurs need. Kit is the leading female NLP master trainer in Asia, certified by both the American Board of NLP and the NLP University. Kit has trained and certified NLP practitioners, master practitioners, and trainers from Singapore, the UAE, Myanmar, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, USA, Australia, Hong Kong, and many, many more. Recently, Kit was appointed an international ambassador for Malaysia and Singapore by the Association of NLP in the UK. She recently published her first NLP book, From Distributor to Diamond, which has been translated in Bahasa in Malaysia, and a chartered accountant by training. Kit is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales and the Malaysian Institute of Accountants. Her qualifications also include NLP Master Trainer, Master Timeline Therapy Trainer, Hypnotherapy Trainer, NLP Coach Trainer, Masterclass Trainer, ACA, and B.com. So much wealth of knowledge, so many skills. Cannot wait to get into this with you guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank
what a
you.
good show.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for having us.
Absolutely. We are super excited. Billy, our relationship goes back to about 2005, I think.
Was it? Well, earlier, I think.
Maybe we were talking in 2000. I started in the NLP field in 2004, and then I think I met you in Sydney in 2005 in October.
Yeah.
And I met you, Kit, back in 2009, 2010, close, my next guest. And Callum, you've known both of them for about seven, 8. I mean, there's a lot of history. Like, we add up all the years, there's a lot of history here, and we're very, very excited to have you here. You made such an impact, not only in the NLP field, both of you, but also the corporate field, and have really been flying the flag in the Asian region for NLP, and having earned yourself master trainer status with NLP University and the AD NLP. That's a feat that not many have been able to accomplish. So gosh, there's so many ways we can dive in from here. Maybe Billy, you're celebrating 26 years in the industry. Can you share with the world what happened 27 years ago that made you go, this is my new direction?
Okay, I kind of started in 1996. So it was like a part-time thingy. I was a full-time sales manager with an MNC public listed company dealing with building materials. But I was always looking for ways to become better. It's like, earlier on in my career, I was like comparing and looked around with my peers. Then, how come they're getting better jobs? They're getting better pay. They're driving better cars. Cars, my thing, right?
Oh, they are, right? You have the GTRs and
yes. I saw it two years ago. Having owned it for like 13 years. Won countless races. Well, this month is special in Singapore. First, the Pope visited Singapore, and then we just had F1.
F1, sorry,
yeah. So I think it was about 2016 or 2017. The Singapore Motorsports Club would held an event, a race event after 1 week after the F1, utilizing the road that was already blocked in the pit area.
Yeah.
And I won the champion. In that same year, I also won the Malaysia Supercars drag race. So I figured it was time to retire after all this. Okay, back to training. So I was always looking for something, right? So I just chanced upon NLP and then started and never stopped. So I got in and never got out, and one thing about me is if I want to do something and that is worth doing, then I want to do it to the best of my abilities. I don't want to just, so I don't stop at the diploma. I want to go on with a degree. I want to go on with the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Yeah. So I think anything worth doing is worth giving our best shot.
Yeah.
So it started from there. And then shortly after, I came out and started a construction and interior design company, but we didn't do well. We were the first to be, construction industry were the first to be hit in the economic crisis back in 1998. But 96, 97, they were already brewing. And so we went out of business. Then the next thing I have to think about is, going for interviews and all that were wonderful. I get a sense that the people who are interviewing me were more concerned about me taking over their jobs at a lower salary And so I figured that, maybe I should start sharing knowledge and all. And so that's how I started. Yeah. And naturally, with a sales background, my first training was sales training. So I think that's something we have in common. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
It
we
is.
love sales.
We love teaching sales.
We love sales and we love teaching sales. Yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I got started.
And how did your network grow? So back then there was no social media. There was like the word of mouth. You had to literally turn up to the rooms, and that's how people met you. Was it just hitting the ground and getting your name out there? Yeah.
Yep. 7 months of cold calling, prospecting. We don't have softwares, either that or it was very expensive, because I kind of literally started this business with only $100 in my pocket. So yeah, so I went to the registry of business to register a business name, and that cost me $25.
Okay.
Without prior experience, because before that I had partners, right? So they did all the admin running. The name got rejected because someone else already used that name. So I had to think of something else and then pay another $15. So that's $40 gone, right? I need to spend $30 with a company secretary who allowed me to use their company address as my business address. And then with $30, I printed my name cards. And that's how I got started. 7 months of prospecting, cold calling, basically standing at the fax machine, manually keying every number and sending out, my flyer that I designed with my desktop computer one by one, and then go around giving a lot of talks. And of course, I don't get paid. Yeah, but it was through one of these talks that I got my breakthrough back then. So I was a member of a Toastmasters club. They wanted to do some recruitment, so they got a few members, and I joined because I'm in the training field now. I'm a trainer, but I don't have a lot of business and a lot of training to go around to do. But I need to polish my skills. I figured that Toastmasters club would be one of those things where people are friendly and they're nice. I can test out jokes. I can test out metaphors. I can test out, my delivery style and, refine myself and polish from there. So it was one of those events where at the end of it, people come shaking your hands. Oh, I really enjoy it very, very much. And never want to let people just go with that. I go like, okay, what specifically did you enjoy? Because I want to know so that if it's good, I want to replicate that.
Yes.
If it's not, then I want to refine and find something else and improve on that. No failure, only feedback, right? And then there were 2 ladies who stayed behind. They were from Hewlett-Packard, HP. Back then, HP was like huge. Right?
Yeah.
And they were in the educational division of HP. So their job is to look around for trainers, organize training for HP. And Singapore was their regional base. So they will organize the training here and then send the trainers to Malaysia, to Indonesia, to Hong Kong, Taiwan, and everywhere in Asia Pacific, right? Or all the way to Sydney, Brisbane as well. So they stayed behind, and then they asked me, they said, are you a local trainer? I said, yes, I am. And they said, we are always looking for trainers. You are really good. How come we don't know you? I'm like, well, now we do. So we set a meeting the following week. And I went there and they go like, do you teach communication skills? I say, yes, I do. Okay, we want a 2-day communication skills workshop on this date and this day. Please mark your calendar. You'll be in Singapore. This date and this date. This in training is going to Malaysia. And they pretty much booked me for the whole year.
Without looking at your content, without looking at your curriculum.
Yeah,
just
because
trusted.
after the communication was like, do you teach presentation? Oh, yes. Okay. Do you teach influencing? Okay, yes. Do you teach leadership? Okay, yes. And they just pretty much booked me up. So I was traveling for a good 10 to 12, 15 years. 3 weeks out of every month, I'll be out of Singapore.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And literally living.
That's how it grew.
Yeah, that's how it grew. Because from there, then, the people who were working for HP, who attended my training while I was in Indonesia, some of them are entrepreneurial. They want to start their little training thing on the side. And now I meet a good trainer who can do that. Hey, Billy, would you like to? And of course, people change and they leave the company and they move on to the next company. And when they do, at the next company, they go like, hey, we want to bring him in to do training.
Bring Billy in. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
What a story. And when did the NLP come into it? So you're training NLP and the corporate training at the same time, right?
92, I took the hypnotherapy training. So
92.
so I was already on the job, but then I was doing part-time work, and also there was a seminar company here that brought in American trainers, and they will organize a seminar for them. My job is to look after the trainer. I'll pick them up from the airport. I'll be with them during
you're
the
the
class. I'll make sure they have their
concierge.
meals and everything,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but then I get to sit in all their classes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I first learned hypnotherapy, and then 94, I think I did my prac. And then 95, 96 master prac. And then by 98, 99, I was already a certified NLP trainer, but it was with another board.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as I got into that, because I was one of the first to represent that board from America in Singapore and this part of the world, I get to work very closely with the owner and the master trainer of that board federation. And get to know that he's not like a credible person and all of that. And so now I'm running my corporate training, but I also want to run my practitioner training, because NLP hypnotherapy was the first thing that changed my life.
Yes.
So I want to do that, and now I need a board to work with to certify people in, and that's how I went to TED. And Ted was like, okay, you want to come, then you know what, we don't know you at all. If you want to come, then you have to do the trainer's training. So I say, okay, I'll take the trainer's training. And that started the journey.
And the NLP trainer's training, or the timeline therapy and the hypnosis?
NLP trainer's training, followed by timeline therapy, and then hypnotherapy.
When did you do the NLP trainer's training with Ted?
That was at that time when you first joined. When we first met.
You flew in and did the timeline therapy and
04,
hypnosis.
05.
I remember. So you must have done it in Vegas in 2004.
No, I did it in Sydney, New South Wales University.
2004.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I was at that class.
2004, 2003.
Must have been 3. I think it was
I got the
my
cert
time
there, but
yeah, I would have remembered you from 2004. It was before.
I think when I attended the trainer's training, we probably did not interact much, but it was later on when I come back as coaching assistant that we got to interact more.
That's right.
So much more that you offered to come to the airport to pick me up if I were to come back as a coaching assistant again, because I will always close all the sales.
You were very good. I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from you, Billy. You were the first person who the frame of time and money. You'll always make more money, but you'll never have more time. Once time goes, it's done. But you lose $10 today, you can make 20 tomorrow.
Yeah.
You use that with one of the coaching assistants, or in one of the coaching assistants meetings, or with one of the students, and it just a light bulb went off.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I do. And I came from a sales background, so I love selling. Yeah, I love selling.
It's good fun. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. I think this is a good place to sort of. I know that there's a huge amount that we can dive into after 2005, but before we do, how did you meet Kit? Kit, how did you meet Billy and start working at Billy Kueek International?
So I was like the one that was all over the place, and Asia Pacific. If I want a corporate trainer, then my name will come out first. But I still want to, despite being that tied up, I want to do the NLP training, and I want to offer trainers training, because now that I've got a lot of experiences. I mean, my 2 years, 3 years in corporate training were like, I think many people's 10 years. It's like, so I'll have clients who go like, wow, it's quite amazing. You came highly recommended, but you have 1 year, 2 years of training experiences. And my reply would be like, every single training I do, I make sure that the next one is a lot better. And that's how I refine my training, one at a time and 1 day at a time. So I don't know about these other trainers that have 10 years of experiences. Because mine is really packed, and mine is really filled with reflection and refinement. were their training, were their 10 years experiences just 1 year's experience repeated 10 times.
Yes.
So I was on radio and all that. I think that was when Kit first heard about this guy. So I'll let Kit tell her side of the story, Kit.
Oh, I'll give you the shortened version. It was basically consciously, as I'll tell you, there's a conscious part of it, right? So consciously, I was just looking for a trainer who could sell me design training programs for me. I wanted to start a business to offer training programs for children or teenagers. It was basically like life skills. And somebody said, "Oh, you've got to meet this person. He's from Singapore, and he can design it for you." And of course, by the time I met Billy, he tells you, I don't design for anybody, but you can come to my training. So he sold me the training based on that, right? And I had to go and watch him run a preview. And oddly enough, it wasn't a train the trainer kind of thing. It was an NLP preview.
The NLP preview came first.
Well, no, there were quite a few previews, but that was the only one that I was free to attend. So I just said, well, it doesn't matter what preview it is. I'll just go because I just want to see whether he can deliver whether he walks the talk, right? And I turned up and I thought, okay, but what's this NLP thing? So consciously, I was looking for one thing, but unconsciously, I found NLP, and it was at the time when I was actually going through really tough times financially. Of course, Billy didn't know that, and I really couldn't afford to go for the training. It was one of those things, and yet somehow the money appeared. Right, when you want something enough, it will just happen. The money appeared to pay for the training. And as Billy will tell everybody, I'm the student that came and never left. So that's how I ended up just.
And guess what Kit is
California.
Guess what Kit is saying these days,
No,
whenever we go out there and go like, okay, this is Billy, he's the owner of Billy Kueek International, he's the boss, but I'm the boss you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we work. So basically, I just hung around because I saw people being transformed. And oddly enough, I thought I didn't get much out of it, except I had this huge phobia, which I got rid of in the first training. But obviously, as you know how NLP works unconsciously, it sort of changed. I changed over time. And I then realized, when I look back, I realized how much it had totally changed my life. That's why I continue to do what I do.
And then after that, it was our masterclass train the trainer, the program where I developed and made it public to train trainers, aspiring trainers.
Yeah.
So back then, we don't have a lot of Asian trainers. Mostly huge MNC companies will fly someone from America, from UK. And I thought that we have good people here, very skillful experiences that are valuable, but they lack training skills. Most people were being put in the training department, or let's use an example. This gentleman called EC. He's an aircraft engineer, and he was a brilliant engineer. He was so good that his company said that, I want you to train engineers. Now, so he's good at doing all the screwing around, but now he's got to teach people how to screw around.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to do that. So he was shopping for a training program, and that was when we first met. And another one of our students turned friends who came and never left.
You've both talked about having struggles financially at the very beginning of your journey. Billy, you talked about having $100 in your bank and all of that being used up quite quickly to get your business going. And Kit, you mentioned it as well. I'd like to hear from both of you, but I'll start with Kit. Kit, what was it that helped you to overcome that initial struggle, that initial lack of resources, not just internally, but externally as well when it comes to finances? Because I know there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of trainers that are listening, and a lot of them have been just working really hard. They've gone through the trainings, they've started their businesses, but they're still hitting that brick wall. They're still finding those struggles that are coming up in their lives. What was it, Kit, that made the big difference for you? What was the needle mover for you that allowed you to cross that chasm? Because it does feel like a huge chasm to cross.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was really big. It was a really big financial hole that I had very, very, skillfully got myself into. I look back on it, and you read my bio. I'm actually a chartered accountant, and you think, how did a chartered accountant get into that kind of situation? Well, just because you understand accounts doesn't mean you can manage money, right? That was the big problem. So what had happened was, I think, with all the things that happens in the NLP training, it made me focus on what I wanted, right? And what I wanted to achieve. And so I was starting to, unconsciously, I didn't realize this, but I was basically starting to deal with my debt rather than try to avoid it. And, really just try and find ways of making it. And so the one thing that really helped was goal setting, because you've got to set your goals. And previously, and setting it for the right reasons. I never knew why I wanted certain goals. It was always like, oh, just to make the money. Well, it wasn't the money, because that's not my values, right? Money wasn't my number 1, 2, or 3 value. And so setting a goal just to make money wasn't going to work. But setting it for the right reason, but with the money goal, you can still set a money goal for the right reasons. It worked, because I still remember very clearly, I got certified as an NLP trainer in 2010. I ran my first NLP prac in June 2011. And in 2010, Billy did ask me, he said, what's your goal for next year? And I was like, I don't really have one. I was like, what do you mean you don't have one? I set a goal. So I did. I set a goal to earn, I'm trying to remember the number. I think it was 110,000 ringgit from training alone in the following year, which is a lot of money in those days. It still is now. And I achieved it because I knew how to set goals, and I knew how to take the steps to get to that goal. And I think that is a huge, huge thing. And a lot of times we forget to set these goals. I know, even like now, I said, for a while, I sort of stopped setting goals because you tend to just work, right? You just do what you want to do, but there is no target to aim for. So you're literally just sitting in your car, metaphorically driving around with no destination, just saying, I'll just drive. But that doesn't get you anywhere. So it's come back to, I've sort of got back to square one. I said, okay, what's my goal for 2025? What do we want to achieve? It's not just let's run trainings, but how many lives, how many people do we want to impact? How much money do we want to make? Back to basics.
Just like when I started, I was on my own. There's no bosses to report to, right? And then, once I started getting busy, I was like, I'm doing okay. I'm earning good income. Hey, I'm famous now. I got, newspapers interviewing me, writing articles. I was on TV. I was regularly on radio, and, the business was all just growing. Well, it's like, hey, I gotta set myself some KPI. So as far as training goes, I want to train, I want to coach, I want to do therapy, I want to deliver keynote speeches to more than 1 million people in my career. So that was the number, not the money at all. Because I think, as Kit rightly pointed out, right, once you understand your values, once you understand why you want to do what you're doing, money kind of take care of it on its own.
Can you explain that sound? I know how, Cal and I know how that works, but for someone who's not trained in goal setting and how you can create something from nothing, could you unpack how that would work for someone who's sitting there going, can a goal, I mean, just because I focus on making an impact, how does that translate to it's going to help me make more money? You have to focus on money. I got to money, but they missed, they missed the bigger picture as to how that happens. Do any of you have a talk track? You unpack that slightly for people who are listening who really have been focusing on this, but when they focus on this is a given that they're going to achieve along the way.
Well, for me, it was, I think for me, learning values was like the biggest light bulb moment for me, because that was when I discovered, and it's stayed almost the same for the last 15 years, that my number one value was really making a difference, right? Trying to make a difference for the people. And so rather than focus on numbers of amount in terms of dollar numbers of how much money to make, it's like, now, how many lives do I want to impact? How many people do I want to reach out to? And of course, every person, of course, money is important. Money is actually my number 4 value, right? But money wasn't like in the past. I would just make a difference, and that can be a problem too, because what happens is you end up making a difference without charging people. You charge them too
Without getting paid to do it.
yeah, right. Which is not. But then you see, when you set a goal that you want to earn a certain amount of money, then you said, right, I'm going to have this number of people, and this number of people is going to pay me this amount of money per person, and that's being the accountant. You work out the numbers, and it makes sense, right? So then you then start selling and going out there to fill the seats, put the bums on the seats, and get hit that target. So it's really it's a combination of things. You've got to make the numbers work, right? So you can't sort of say, well, I want $100,000, so I'll just find one person to pay. It's not going to work that way. So you're going to say, what are people prepared to pay? Well, I know how much the company was charging for our practitioner trainings, and then it was a matter of saying, okay, so how many trainings do I have to run? How many people do I need? And also I did some corporate training as well, and we know how much we charge for that. So basically, then sitting down and just putting down a plan. And part of that goal setting idea is really when you put it down and you can see it on paper, right? Don't just sort of think in your head, oh, well, yeah, I want this number of people and then just work it out, because you can have that number in your head. But putting it down in black and white on a piece of paper is a commitment to yourself, right? And you just basically say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And your unconscious looks at it and goes, okay, now I know where we're heading. Then suddenly you got people appear in your lives, you meet people, the ideas pop up, and it works. But you've got to basically have that structure, that plan.
What you said then is key, and it was Tad that highlighted this for me. That key piece where you said when you write down the plan, you write down the individual steps so that your unconscious mind runs, not so that your conscious mind runs, because your conscious mind could have it sitting up here and it knows that it wants to go there. But if you don't have that specific plan and have the steps, each specific step, and you have the quantities of each specific step laid out, what will happen, and I've seen this happen with clients and students before, is they will start to feel overwhelmed and they'll start to feel anxious. And the reason why is because their unconscious mind is trying to signal to them, I know you want this goal, and I know that there's time constraints involved. However, between now and then, I have no idea how we're going to fill the gaps in. And that's the conscious mind's goal.
That's actually something we now integrate into our training. So traditionally values work were taught in master prac.
Right.
But I included values work in our prac. Not the entire values work per se, but the illustration and the hierarchy of values and the testing of the values. Because I get a lot of people asking me, like, I don't know what's my purpose. I don't know what I truly want, right? Like, if I don't have money, okay, sure, I know I want money, but what is it that I truly want? How much do I want? So we kind of came up with a model. So in all our classes, like prac classes, we give them pre-course homework to do. They're supposed to write down their goals. They're supposed to write down all their challenges, and we break it down into categories for them. What were some beliefs that were negative? Who are the people in your life that's irritating you? What are the emotional problems and areas and negative emotions you need to get rid of? What are the habits, the behaviors, your actions, or what they like? So we kind of give them a model. We call that the live by design model. It came from one of the quotations I wrote. It says, live by design, not by default. Where they find out where they are right now, and then we activate their mindset, their personal motivation, their meaning, and their purposes. And then we overcome all these people barriers, improving influencing skills through the training, deal with the minds now with the limited beliefs, limiting beliefs, and then limiting decisions, emotional well-being, managing their states better, getting rid of procrastination, and then comes all the behavioral part with new behaviors, patterns, strategies. And that's how you break through to your goals.
Yeah, I think that comprehensive approach is so important, because there's often a lot left unsaid in that process. And I think that they're the nuances that are so critical and important. Some people do get it and can bridge the gap themselves. Others, they need to understand those pieces of nuance. They need to understand the idea of, yes, it's about your negative emotions, limiting beliefs, your values, and your strategies and decisions and all those sorts of things. But having those questions there, what is irritating you? what are the things that are getting in your road? What are the emotions that come up with this specific goal right here? That gives more context to that process for them. And I think that's a really clever way of doing it, Billy. And
because
something that Connor and I have started to realize with Connect Coaching and the trainings that we deliver, which is in a different sort of mode, talking more about business and a bit more about marketing, advertising, and sales. But we've realized that we used to take for granted a lot of information in the middle. We took for granted that people knew that if we mentioned this, they would understand all the other pieces that went together. And what we're figuring out is that there is a need for the ability to go really narrow and deep on topics. And sometimes in the past, when we run the certification trainings, there just wasn't that, you didn't have the ability to do that because of the time in which you had to do the training in. So we've realized that we've really had to go narrow and deep on a few topics so that, like you said, you can have them get those results. And it's great to hear that you're already integrating those into your training.
Because I kind of noticed like a lot of like NLP training, or a lot of trainers would do this, they would teach all the techniques. So that the techniques are all there, right? But how do people implement them? How do they apply them? Where do they apply them? When do they apply them? For what purpose do they apply them? So rather than, because that's what happened to me. I went for prac twice with two different trainers. The first one I go in, I came out, I was completely like, okay, I felt there's a change, but now what do I do? What did I actually learn? How can I discovered a new limiting belief. Now, how do I deal with it? So I think it's about going through the experience and then really reflecting on the experience and refining on the experience to make myself a better trainer, to make my program a better program.
It's also like modeling your own success and the additional steps that you've modeled or done yourself, and how to communicate that effectively to your students. So
so we started running a lot of NLP training later on, including timeline therapy, hypnotherapy. When I first did it was run separately. We didn't run it like a whole package thing. And then my trainer program, the generic trainer program, we call it the masterclass trainer program. That program started to take off because then, it was a growing market. We have a lot of people who are aspiring trainers. They want to be trainers. They want to be speakers, but they don't know how. And a lot of people have this notion that if I can stand up and speak to a group of people, I'm a trainer. I'm like, oh man, these are the people that kills the market, So I need to share my experiences.
It's almost like a duty to clean up the market.
Yeah, it's like I got to help ourselves collectively elevate our standards. Yeah. So today,
I heard a great metaphor. What is it, Callum? How do you to raise all the boats in the harbor? You have to raise the tide, and that's what you were doing. I want to backtrack a little bit, and it just because I did a piece on resilience in Sydney on Wednesday. 7 months of cold calling.
Wow,
that's tough.
Not many people have the grit and the resilience to do that.
I got my first paid job. I deliver 2-day sales training, and I got paid $800 per day. That was my first training.
Wow.
7 months, $1,600 in income.
Yeah. What kept you going? Because so many people give up just before greatness because they start listening to their unconscious mind saying, this is getting hard. Is this worth it? All those doubts start to creep in. How did you block that out and keep going? What was it? Was it just focus? Was it, determination? Was it self-discipline for yourself? If you go back to that time, what was going through your mind to have you go, I want this to work, versus I can just get a job in construction again. I can just do this.
For me, this has to work, because when the construction business went bust, it wasn't pretty. I have more than $400,000 in debt. And the people whom I owe money to are not nice people to owe money to. They were subcontractors. They will camp below my apartment every evening, waiting for me to come back and all of that.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
That
Okay.
that in no way would allow. There's no way for me to pay them back if I'm going to take on a regular job, and I only have $100. What can I do? Right. So training started to come in mind. And as I started doing it, I find that I discover more and more meaning and more purpose into doing it. I think success is, for me, number one, determined by doing things that serves my life purpose, doing things that I was made to do. I mean, okay, I'm a good Catholic, so I think on the day I die, I'll go heaven. That's when I get to see God and go like, hey, God, why do you create it? Why do you create me? What was I supposed to do? Right. Until that day, then I'll find out my true reason and purpose. But for now, based on best guess, what is one thing that I do that even on my worst day, I do it better than other people on their best day?
That's a good
And
question.
that is anytime I have some people or even one person in front of me who ask important questions and that I can add value, that's the reason. That's the purpose.
Could you repeat that question again? Because that's a light bulb, I think, and it's such a good way to ask someone.
Communication is unconscious. Okay, what is the one thing you do? What is the one thing you do that you do it better on your worst day? And what is the one thing you do better on your worst day than many other people on their best day?
Great question.
What's that one thing you do best that you do it better than other people on your worst day compared to when they were on their best day?
On the
I don't think I say it exactly the same way.
No, that's good.
I actually had it in a quote, and it was printed in a motivational postcard and posters.
Brilliant. That resonated with me because someone actually recently asked me how do I find my why, and I didn't have time to unpack it tremendously, but they were also asking which direction should I go in, and that question alone I think is a great place to start to bring some unconscious their values to their conscious awareness.
Yeah. What is that thing that gives you meaning? What's that thing that bring you up even when you're down? What's that one thing that you have to do that even when you're down, you're just gonna rise up? So like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, right? We are motivational speakers, we inspire lives, we empower people, but we have our moments too, right?
Absolutely.
So like even when the time that I was down, if I bump into someone who go like, Billy, I want to ask you a question because I'm struggling with this. And that moment was like, hey, I'm up again. I'm back up. Yeah. So I think he picked the right quotation. Out of the hundreds that I written, that's one of the first one. Without passion, life is only motion.
That was
something that you're doing that's worth doing. Do it all the way.
I think I
know along the way there'll be a lot of all this, negative talks that start coming in. A lot of people are going to tell you, "Oh, come on, you're Asian. There's no way big MNC is gonna pay you." Yeah, that's all gonna happen. But that's the reason why, and all the more I have to make it happen. So maybe I was stubborn. Call it determination and persistent, but I was stubborn. I was going to, really give it a push. 7 months, it didn't work. Okay, I'm just going to give it a push. All right. If by the 12-month point, I can close one sale, that means I can do this.
And here we are.
Then it happened.
And then here we are. There was also a fire under you, metaphorically, to light you up to go in that direction. So you had a desire, a need in order to generate that amount of energy to make it work. So your purpose to make it work was fairly significant. So it doesn't we all know it doesn't always have to be an away from, people camped out in a black car under your apartment. But the emotional attachment to that purpose, whether it's positive or negative, needs to be really intense in order to keep that resilience going.
Yeah. Every day there are people out there who needs to hear our messages. Every day there are people out there who needs your coaching. Why aren't you getting out there and make yourself available?
Yeah. You even, I remember back in 2010 or thereabouts, I think you gave me some cards. Did you have a quote calendar or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. So what happened was, we had those big motivational posters.
Yeah.
And then I started writing a lot of quotations, and a lot of which came out of either like a moment of inspiration. Like when you're giving training, you don't plan everything you say, right? And then suddenly just something brilliant comes out, right? And the moment you kind of go, oh my God, that was brilliant. And I got to remember this. And so I always have a notepad on, and any time, any moment, experiences, a moment of something I see, something I hear, I was just, just craft it out, come out with it. And the kid was, of course, an important part to all of this, because I never did well in school. So when I was 16, we have to do an exam called the O-levels exam, but marked by Cambridge. And that for Singapore, right, English is the first language. And then depending on your race, that would be your second language. I took 8 subjects for my first O-level attempt at age 16. I failed everything, and I only passed my Chinese. My English was F9. F9 is the worst grade. I should have just gone missing and not take the paper, because if you go missing, they will print on the transcript as AB. So that I can go back and tell my father, see, that's an A and a B. See, my English is good, right? But when I go back with the F, and my dad, of course, he was illiterate. But what is F? Well, F means fantastic. E is just excellent. When actually I failed everything except my Chinese. Yeah. So after that, we had like a break. So 3 months working in a fast food restaurant. When I got my first paycheck, 3 weeks into it, I look at it and I go like, that's not how I want to live my life. This money is not even enough for me to buy a Walkman.
Yeah, the old
Walkman on my journey to work. I listen to music, right? That's not enough. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go back and take the exam again. Second attempt, guess what? Tremendous improvement. Now I passed 2 subjects.
Okay.
For a lot of people, that's still a big failure, because you need
200%
5,
increase,
right? But to me, hey, that's 100%, right?
Yeah. Brilliant. And Kit, I can tell you've brought, and this is just outside looking in, but a lot of structure to the operation. Is that what you lean towards intrinsically within yourself? You enjoy that, I mean, being an accountant, everything, all the numbers have to add up. So there has to be a pattern, there has to be a structure with that. When did you start working together with Billy? Was it around the 2010 time?
It took a long time. No, it didn't take that long. But it was basically really just hanging around. And I think at some point Billy was getting worried because he probably thought I was stalking him. I just wouldn't leave. Every time we had a training, kid would just pop up. She'd just turn up and like, what's she doing here?
Hey guys, Kallum and Conor here from Connect Coaching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Unplugged podcast. We're jumping in to let you know about something really exciting, the Forever Client Matrix.
Absolutely. What we love doing is lighting people up and having them realize that their future is bright, and most importantly, making a difference in this world. So we are very excited to be able to share this with you.
If you want to turn every prospect into a forever client, then please click on the link below in the description and get instant access now to your preview of the Forever Client Matrix.
Enjoy.
She wasn't a coach. She didn't sign up to be a coaching assistant, nothing like that. And then she's just there again, I just wanted to see, I just wanted to observe and learn from every opportunity, that I could get. And then I noticed that there were certain things like, everything was done. Basically, Billy knew what he needed to do, but everybody else had to basically work around him, and there wasn't enough, things done. So it's like, we need this, we need more structure. And because I'm very, very through time. I'm a planner.
The bossy one, remember?
I need things planned. I need things organized. I need to know what's happening when and who's doing what and all that. And that's where I think I played the key role.
You found the gap. You found the gap that was needed. And
I created the gap.
You created the gap. I didn't know it was a problem until you brought it to my awareness.
All right. Because you're probably thinking like, well, the company's running, right? It's doing well. So what do you think you add to it? Well, I know I will be able to add to it. And as you were saying, basically, English is my first language. And I would I must admit, Billy is actually a very good student, right? I would help him to correct certain things, and he would just take it on board immediately. He doesn't like say, oh, give justification why he does what he does, and even if he does it wrong, he just says, okay, fine, take it, takes the feedback and works on it. And
So she came back, and then at the end of it, I always gather a team around and go like, okay, what feedback do you have for me? And she go like, you pronounce this word wrong. Here's how you should say it. And I'm like, okay, and she never had to teach me how to pronounce the same word twice.
Yeah,
So she's been a great teacher.
I was correcting his slides, and there were typos on the slides and things like that as well. And I was just making myself useful, for a long time.
Yeah.
It sounds like about, I think it was 2012 when I basically sort of like got myself into the role of running the company, and then co-training, and then eventually trading.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are like the perfect match, business match with the way that you operate and the way that you think. Obviously, Billy being probably more big picture and conceptual, and then you like to get right down the weeds into the details. So how did you guys? Because it's a theme for Connor and I as well, where we feel like we're a perfect business match. How did you guys find your roles and space for each other, and how did that sort of come through naturally, or did you over time define that more clearly with working with one another?
I think it was more okay, I'll tell you how it goes, right? So because the company's called Billy Kueek International, so people's expectation is when I turn up, Billy Kueek's going to be there. So it took a while for me to gain acceptance into the audience, because they were like, "Where's Billy Kueek?" And even if you tell them that he's busy or whatever, they'd be like, "No, it's Billy Kueek International. Billy needs to be here." But so it took a while. So I just I am a bit larger than Billy, in size physically. So it helps me to have that presence. And I just turn up. I just keep showing up, and then just by delivering and doing what we do, I think my skills is actually knowing how to fill the gaps, as we said just now, right? Knowing where it is. So
You keep showing up. You just keep showing up.
I just keep showing up.
That's what you did. That's what you did at the beginning. Just keep showing up.
Absolutely. Right. Billy will do what Billy does. And then when Billy can't do it, right, I've got to go and do this, or I've got something else. I've got another corporate training. Okay, you take over. And I'll be like, okay, right, I'll just pick it up and run. And so we just managed to just basically fill the gaps between each other. Right? And so and then there was a time, I remember we were in Myanmar doing our training, and I was sick. And Billy was there. I was really, really ill. And as much as I want to be there, I didn't want, I think that was during COVID times as well. And we didn't want to like make sure, I didn't have COVID, but I didn't want to like make people.
Yeah, you were having a flu, and then everybody else is like,
You couldn't cough in public.
Right, exactly. So Billy was like, okay, I'll run today. Right. So because we know the content so well, we know the material so well, and we know each other so well, it was just a matter of, right, we go with the flow, and it just works.
Yeah.
And now we're doing more and more of both training at the same time.
Oh, co-training.
Oh, yeah. So it used to be like, it's just me, when I'm there, I'm doing it, then later I'll be off and the kid will be doing it. But guess what, what goes around comes around, right? So back when kid was doing the training, people would go like, where's Billy? Where's Billy? All right.
And
nowadays the people coming, well, I want to attend kids training.
Kit was on the masterclass. I want to do the training because Kit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to connect the dots. We, as you probably know, we've created our sales system called the Forever Client Matrix. I can't help but think that Kit was your first Forever client. He's now here.
Actually, yeah, we do have a lot of clients that, or a lot of students that go all the way, but it was just strictly coming for the training, paid for the training, come for the training. Maybe they come back as a coaching assistant, because I always promise them, I said, if you come back as a coaching assistant, regardless of how many times you're back already, I promise you, even if it's the same prep class, you're going to learn something different.
Absolutely.
I agree.
So yeah, so there were those who were just, student, and then there were those who hang around for a while, They want me to mentor them. So they will come for my train the trainer, the masterclass train the trainer. We train them to become trainers, and then we have mentoring packages as well. I have program licensing as well, but only for those who have completed our trainers training, because then it makes more sense for me to license my training program to you. I don't have to explain in details what sort of training methodology you're going to use, because you have already learned it from the class, right? Yeah. So that also came out kind of like, I don't know, by accident, just something. So what happened was, at that time, there were like more and more people who are aspiring trainers. There were more people who are there are more training departments being created, and hence, more people need to fill those roles. And then we have an association in Singapore called STADA. STADA is an acronym, it's Singapore Training and Development Association. So they tied up with the University of Southern Queensland in Australia, Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And to provide a program called the Professional Diploma in Training and Development. So they have like 8 modules, one of which is training needs analysis and all of that, one of which is program design. And I came in to do delivering training, because when they first started, what they did was they got trainers from companies. So these were training managers from, this particular company, who obviously has been doing a lot of training for their own subordinates and employees. And guess what? They're not going to get a real feedback.
Yeah.
Because by organizational hierarchy and chart, they are like higher up there, right?
So they'll get all the corrections.
Yeah.
They'll get yes.
Yeah. So they came and teach these paying students who wants to become trainer, and teaching them how to deliver training. And then I think after about two or three intakes, they got a feedback was like, the trainer that taught us how to deliver training can't deliver training. And so they went searching around, and somehow my name kept popping up. So they got me in to teach the module on delivering training. And then later on, they also found that they couldn't find people who are successful training entrepreneurs who also run training as a business. So then they gave me that module as well. So I taught 3 modules out of 8 modules from there. And I did about 13 batches of students. After that, I was like, okay, this thing need to get out there, and it needs to be less structured. It needs to take, it doesn't need to take like months for them to earn the diploma in training and development. So hence we started the masterclass Train the Trainer.
All right.
So in fact, just 2
Yeah.
nights ago, I was doing coaching with one of our students who attended our training in Malaysia, but has moved to Canada. And he's our NLP. We certify him as an NLP trainer and a hypnotherapy trainer. So he's been doing that, and he wants to get into the corporate market. And so I was just doing coaching with him because he licensed 4 of my training programs that he wanted to use to get into the corporate market.
Got it. Okay. That's so that you roll out the red, not roll out the red carpet, but you make the pathway very easy for them to walk down if they want to get into the corporate market.
Yeah. Get them hit the ground running. So I have so many of them who, when they're attending the masterclass Train the Trainers, they were already selling trainers. Those who came for our NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, master practice, they were selling coaching appointments in the midst of taking the training.
Cool.
And so many of them came to us and said, you know what, my fees are already paid for.
That's right. That's what we recommend, or we used to recommend.
That's the beauty of it.
It's great. And when you can inspire someone to take action like that, they literally we've had other speakers on our podcast, and we've spoken a lot about magic. And one of the definitions of magic is creating something from nothing. And literally, as long as you have one of these and you have skills within yourself, you can sell your skills and create that income immediately.
That's what Billy did with his $100. He created
$100.
Yeah. Well, with $400 over $1,000 of that behind me, I promise these subcontractors. I mean, the easiest way for them to go is, look, the company is a private limited company, limited by liability. Sue the company for bankruptcy. All right, that would be an easy escape for me. And don't come after me. I'll report you to the police for harassment, right? But I look at every one of them. I said, I don't know when I can pay you back. You give me time. I'm gonna pay you back. Maybe it's $50 a month. Maybe it's $5,000 a month. All right. So are you gonna trust me or go sue the company? Yeah. So I think back to what you mentioned earlier on about many coaches or trainers that they are into it. They feel that this is something they like to do. I mean, it's empowering. I can't think of many other professions, many other careers that has this intrinsically and extrinsically rewarding nature to it than to do coaching, therapy, training, right? Or even speaking, for that matter. So I would recommend that, because for me back then, and even now, the market is not that big, right? So if I'm just going to be doing coaching alone, I'm limited to that market. So I expand myself. From coaching, I'm also doing training. From training, I started learning how to do speaking, keynote speeches, long before Singapore market was even ready for it.
Yes.
And Singapore market is somewhat kind of at the forefront in Southeast Asia. Also because a lot of large MNC companies use Singapore as like a regional HQ. So they're usually the one that get the training first and so forth. Yeah. So I started polishing and my own speaking. I'll be driving and it seemed as if like I'm talking to someone on the phone. I'm actually practicing my speech. I'm practicing the delivery of my joke. I'm practicing the delivery of a metaphor. Yeah. But so expand yourself. So I got myself trained through self-learning, how to deliver keynote speeches, have everything jam-packed in 1 hour, make it engaging, empowering, entertaining at the same time, long before there was a market for it. And guess what? When the market is mature, now the insurance companies and real estate companies are growing big. They need to run big annual events of thousands of people in the audience. I'm ready. So if you do not invest time to prepare, you will waste time to repair.
Oh,
Another one of
write
my
that down.
quotes.
Write that down.
Another one of my quotes.
It's
So
good.
hey, man, I don't know if this is common practice. If the first 10 of your listeners will respond by sending a message to Conor or Connect Coaching, I'm gonna send you a deck of my quotations. And in a postcard form. Form. Yeah. So because nobody has space for big motivational posters now, right?
I used to have them in the office. The big mountain with the little penguin at the beginning of the mountain. There was some sort of quote about doesn't matter how what size the goal is, etc. Just keep going.
Yeah. But we have shrink it down into postcard size. Yeah, because once I received a postcard after I came back from I think it was
Are they
Hong
yes
Kong.
cards? Were they yes cards or something like
No,
that?
no, not the yes cards. I've developed quite a few cards though. Like
Are the yes cards yours?
No.
Yes cards, no. I have the values illustration cards. And I did this card called the intelligent response cards. So in the card deck, there'll be like 3 colors, each color representing one element. So yellow is for thoughts, purple is for feelings, and then green cards are for actions. So I get people to analyze, if something go wrong right now and you're thinking about it, it's likely to happen again. You want to be able to deal with it better next time. So what you do is you go through the card, pick out the thoughts that you had at that moment when that problem happened. So, what were some thoughts that happened? And then along with it, what did you feel at that time? What did you do at that time? And that's why you got the result. So now, what would you like to change? How can you change? And just start by changing one. When you change your thoughts, you change your feelings, you change your actions. And so now your brain is equipped. So we use this for coaching. It's excellent working with kids on this one. You empower them to make their own choices, to decide what they want to think, what they want to feel, and how they want to act. It's also great for self-coaching. So we do a lot of this in our corporate leadership training as well, where leaders get to coach your people, and now you can coach your people properly. Because most people, on reflection, if that did not turn out the way I want it, I'm going to do this the next time. So they're only focusing on 1/3 of the equation, the doing. But then the next time that the same thing happened with the same trigger, guess what? You go back to the same old pattern. Why? Because you have not identified the entire pattern. You have not made changes to the entire pattern, all the important elements. So now, if you get to pick your thoughts, how would you like to think differently? And now they start picking out the new cards, and the new thoughts lead to new feelings, new actions, and go like, okay, my brain now has at least 2 options. See, people get good at doing badly if they keep doing it all the time, you know. So practice doesn't make perfect. It makes permanent. You keep practicing your mistakes. You keep practicing the wrong things. You perfect your mistakes.
You'll be very good at your mistakes. Can you? That's very generous of you. Could you mention that again? So the first 10 people who reach out to Callum or myself and say, "I'm putting up my hand," we'll give them what is it?
Yeah. So I'll send you 20 quotations that I've written in soft copies. You can use it as a screensaver. So especially for those of you who are doing training, use it as a screensaver. During a break, you get all these quotes. So that's what I do. So before the training, people start coming in. I have my screensaver going out, all the quotes, you know, one after another. And that itself is already conditioning and preparing it and creating the atmosphere.
Yeah.
During the break, these quotes come out. I get people who will take out a camera and take a shot of it, you know. And of course, then during my class is all about participation. Everyone that participate and say something and contribute something gets a deck of the cards. Or my books, you know, anything, it depends. I just got my 5th book out last year.
Congratulations. What's it called?
It has got 2 3/4 now. 3/4 because the pencil book you did 3/4, I did 1/4.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, congratulations to both of you for the book. What's it called?
Kit, your latest book is called.
Oh, mine is a collection of stories. So it's called The Wise Old Oak. So it's just a collection of metaphors that I've used in training and coaching that have helped me. And therefore I thought, well, best to put them together so that one, I can keep my own reference manual, but also for other trainers and coaches who need some sort of metaphor for their trainings. And a lot of parents find it very useful now because it's something that they can read to their children because it's just short stories. A lot of them are just taken off the internet, but it's putting them together and only selecting the ones that I feel, well, I have used. So it's really based on my own experience. And Billy's book is the one on training and presentation.
The latest one is Training and Presenting Like a Pro.
Yeah.
Because I started by recording some of my live sessions on when I was training trainers, running the Masterclass Trainer program. And we created a 3 DVD set called Training and Presenting Like a Pro. So now the book is out. The whole thing goes in, it's available as a set.
Fantastic.
As well. But just before that, we did, that's where the kid did the 3/4 work, was another book on metaphors called The Parable of the Pencil and Other Empowering Stories, which pretty often I used it as a concluding summary to my motivational keynotes. Because then you know how metaphor works wonders with the whole brain, the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, the left brain, the right brain, you know. So we kind of bundle all of this together as a coaching bundle, a coaching pack. So the packs that come, they're going to need a lot of metaphors. Guess what? There's 2 books that with proven metaphors that I've used in real life training, during keynote speeches in conferences, as well as personal coaching. So stories are all there for you.
Brilliant. And how would one get their hands on this book? These books?
You can visit us on our website or drop us an email.
Fantastic. Is which website? I've seen a couple, or maybe I've just seen the one, but many links for it. Which is the main website? Billy Kueek International.
I think it's probably easier to just drop us a message on Facebook or we find that websites tend to be a bit sort of wonky at times, and it doesn't always work. And
all right, brilliant. So I've tagged both of you in this post, so they can just click on one of you, and then they can order it through you. But also we'll put this on YouTube, and we often like to have a link so that if anyone's watching on YouTube, they can just click on the link and then find it as well. So we'll get
profile links. We'll put profile links on there as well.
Yeah. Right. So back to 20 screensavers filled with quotations that I've written myself for the first 10 people who we'll drop Connor and Kallum a message.
Do it. Do it right now. Don't wait.
We've already got a couple of people in the chat saying that they want a copy, so they'll be the first.
Great. Oh, great. Not wanting to remember. Oh, great.
So let's talk about what's next. So 26 years, Billy Kueek International, 30 is going to be around the corner very soon. Big celebration.
Mm-hmm.
What's on the horizon? Where do you see the industry going and growing? Where do you see Billy Kueek International growing and going?
Yeah, definitely. I think the industry is growing and growing. At the same time, we now have a temporary setback because of COVID. Lots of companies that were doing corporate training before, that invested in corporate training before, now use that as a reason not to do training. It's like, hey, we had 2 years with COVID and we didn't do any training. Guess what? Everybody is doing fine anyway, so there's no need to spend money to do training. Right? But we feel that that's just a temporary effect, that eventually they're going to realize that they need training. So corporate training is a huge market. Coaching is a huge market. Now there are more, or at least in Asia's context, there are more and more CEOs are coming out to say things like, you know what, it is okay not to be okay. Because there was a time I suffered burnout. I had stress. I had, all these relationship problems. It's affecting my work. So I think the market is only getting bigger. More and more people are aware of the availability of coaching and therapies. I have 12-year-olds who will go back home and tell their parents, "Mommy, I need a coach. I have issues. I need a coach." "Oh, what are your issues?" "I can't tell you, but I need a coach." See, 12 years old, knew there are coaches available. So I think for the large majority of people out there, it is okay to get help. It is not okay not to get help. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the market is growing. Get yourself ready. Be trained to be a trainer. You can run your own programs to the public much better. You can make yourself available to do corporate training. You prepare yourself to give speeches, because more and more companies are organizing large conferences. And my largest audience was 6,000 people when I just fly in there, stay the night, the following day, deliver 1 hour of keynote speeches. And guess what? I cannot approve any more friends requests to my personal Facebook page. Facebook limited to like 5,000, right? So
that's right.
I can't add. I got another 1,000 people waiting. So please
go
add kids.
5,000 as a wait list.
Because I think it's easy to reach that, right? In a year, I do like 15 keynote speeches, each of which are like at least 500 people in the audience.
Yeah, that's up.
If you get like 5%, who will subsequently go like, okay, let me add this fella. I like what he's talking about.
Do you also give as much energy to the LinkedIn profile? Are you big on LinkedIn?
Actually, not much. Every time I look around, there's
posts, but not as much as
yeah. But a lot of our students were very active in LinkedIn. Yeah, many of them make it a point to post something, every day at midnight. I keep getting all the notifications that popping out, because that's the time. Midnight here is the time that I'm preparing to do coaching with our clients in Canada and US.
Yeah. Gosh,
Why did they midnight?
Sorry, Ken?
Why do they post at midnight, do you think? Is it to get it prepared for the next day, or?
Oh, no, it's my midnight, but it's their noon.
Okay.
It's their noon time. Yeah. So that's the time for the 1-2 hours coaching.
I was just curious if I was missing out on some secret strategy there.
I think the people who are posting it, they're posting in this part of the world. In midnight, it's all like, they're all finishing their to-do list before the next day. Like, I haven't posted today and I've got to do that.
People here work really hard.
They work really late as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they work really hard. They work really late. They need to learn. They need to get coaching. They need to be able to do things more effectively and efficiently, so that they get things done faster with better results. So there you go. Coaching is a huge market. Training is huge.
Add on to what you were asking just now. basically, both Billy and I are getting, at the older end of the scale. It's obvious looking at our, our pictures here. And what we really want to do is we want to really certify more trainers and master trainers, because this industry is very much needed, and we need more people out there, empower more people to be able to continue doing what we do. And we're happy to work with people if they and I think that's the key thing. I think we've shared about how we support our students and our graduates, and that is what I want to do, is to help more trainers and coaches out there, to empower them to be able to continue doing what we do. And that is
So,
really our goal.
so what I mentioned, like, with our masterclass, train the trainer participants, they get the license programs. So that's an instantaneous start. You got programs that are already proven, that are bought by big names in the industry. I mean, we're talking Citibank, we're talking ExxonMobil, we're talking Cadbury Chocolates, we're talking Estee Lauder, we're talking Eastman, Gillette, SAP, British America Tobacco. We're talking about all these big names. So a lot of corporate clients available out there. And we help these aspiring trainers and speakers to be ready and hit the ground running. Our NLP and Hypnotherapy Master Trainer certifications has elements of collaboration, where we work together with them. Almost like, you organize the show, we're gonna be there, and we train together.
Okay, so you co-train with trainers who've come through your pathways.
Those on our master trainer track, we co-train with them. That's one best way to be able to see how they're training.
It's fantastic. What a great initiative for them and you.
Also because we have our unique challenges. Like in terms of currency strength, Singapore currency is like, is so high. It's so high, and the regional countries that are developing, the currencies are weak and stuff. And so really, if we're going to impose because the standards have to be met, the rules of the game has to be present, right? They got to be able to send people for the training. So you send your pracs to me, I will know the quality of your pracs and therefore your training, right?
Yes.
But they can't afford to come here. The people can't afford to come here. Myanmar is still having war. So they can't come here. I remember last year.
Oh, this is with Andrew. You're referring to Andrew?
Yeah, I'm referring to
Okay,
Andrew. Yeah, we collaborated with him. And just last year, when we were running day 3 of our NLP trainers training, one of the participants, his home back in the village, just had 2 bombs drop on his roof.
Oh, awful.
Yeah. But we get these people, they're so hungry to learn. They want to learn. They want to be better. They want to get out there to empower other people as well. And we can't just let money be in the way. Yeah. But of course, end of the day, I come back to Singapore and I spend Singapore dollars.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the most expensive place in the world. We
Singapore
are officially number 1 now when it comes to the most expensive cars in the world.
Huh. Sydney must be up there somewhere. Sydney is ridiculously expensive. Real estate in Australia is expensive.
I think real estate everywhere, especially in developed countries, are definitely a lot higher. But Singapore being such a small place, makes sense that cars are expensive. Just to be able to buy a car, a brand new car, you need to first of all bid for a certificate of entitlement. As of now, if anyone wants to buy a Subaru WRX, they have to bid for that certificate, and that certificate alone costs about 120,000 now.
How much? What's the currency?
If we worked it up,
$6
probably 100,000 Aussie now, just to get that piece of paper,
To buy a car.
including
Buy a car.
the car. So if you're gonna buy a mid-level Toyota Camry, let's just say, as of now, it's about 250,000 Sing for that car. And it's only valid for 10 years. After that, you got to scrap it or pay the certificate again and renew it for another 5 or 10 years. So
Can you
officially
can you
you're
can you
number
pay
one.
with it? Can you pay the certificate on a payment plan?
It's part of what
But
they
the cost
if you
cost.
buy from the agent, they kind of lump it together. So yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Ah, okay,
Oh,
okay.
the cost
But
cost.
But that's still ridiculous.
yeah, but they will still analyze everything. So here the banking systems, they're all connected. All the credit finance companies, they're all credit. So I can, let's say if you're in Singapore and you work in Singapore, you pay taxes here and you have a official job here. I can pay the credit bureau I think it was like $15 to do a thorough credit check on you. So I will know how each of the banks rate you as far as, your money credibility is concerned.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So they kind of limit it to like, your fixed expenses, such as your housing and cars cannot be more than 40% of your overall pay. So it's not as if like, hey, I want to buy that car. It means you can buy that car. You got to, where did the
So if
money
I was
come
to
from?
buy a Skyline GTR,
Now it's $750,000 brand new. $750,000.
what's
A
the
Lamborghini is $3 million
Yeah, Lamborghini is $3 million.
for 10 years only. You got to renew it. You got to renew by paying again. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So coming back, yeah. So we come up with creative mechanism to help our neighboring countries where people are hungry to learn. They want to be a part of this industry. They want to add value to other people. And that's pretty much where we are aligned, right? I mean, our company, Billy Kueek International, our slogan is transforming people, inspiring lives. And if we can help anyone transform people and inspire lives, that's what we do.
And that's what drives you.
Pardon the time. It's been 26 years. Yeah.
26
So I
years.
can't foresee, I know, in small gray hair, try to make up.
You're both
lesser
looking
hair, but
amazing.
try to make up with like longer hair now. Back to my
We'll have the
teenage-
ponytail soon.
Back to my teenage years. Probably not going to do the ponytail thingy. My wife kind of favor me with the more Korean actor style.
Yeah, okay.
You know how their dramas are sweeping the whole world, whole
K-pop.
entertainment industry. K-pop is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of opportunities, I think, to all the coaches, the new trainers, the new speakers. Somewhere, someone out there wants your services. You got to just be there. Just be there. Persist. Be patient. Persevere.
Be stubborn.
Yeah, like, if you apply your stubborn, you know what we say about in NLP, right? Mental flexibility. Every behavior is useful somewhere. Use your stubbornness in your pursuit of getting your goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. I love that. Well, speaking of goals, we are looking to finish off 2024 with a massive high. And Kallum and I have only been in business with Connect Coaching for 13 months now, which is still relatively new. So we have a long runway ahead of us, and we're super excited about what we've created so far in a very short period of time, and where the journey will take us, and how the changing variables in the world will mean that we'll have to adjust here and there. But it's incredibly exciting. But a large part of our the drive is one thing, but the refinement, I think, in the communication has a large part, for me personally, has come down to the NLP influence, and how I've been able to articulate and bring the skill and have other people take it on. And it's been incredibly instrumental in my life's journey. I know for Kallum as well. And we are super excited to have you here. Very, very thankful to have you both getting up early and joining us on the podcast number 28. So much gold today from both of you. I saw Kallum has already put one of your quotes up online.
Thank you. We hope to come back again, and right, we all trainers and speakers, we can talk for days.
Oh. And I hope one day we all connect again in person. Yeah, absolutely. If I'm ever in Southeast Asia or Singapore or Malaysia, you'll be one of the first people that I that I ring, and Cal and I would love to catch up with you both.
That would be
Wonderful,
great.
wonderful. Yeah. So I think just before we locked off, Kit,
Mhm.
some final advice.
Wow. Basically, as you know, what I've been talking all the time, just show up. Just keep showing up, right?
Mm.
Whenever there's an opportunity, I know you two always run a lot of things online, and I always want to join, and I'm very grateful for the recordings because timing is such that it usually doesn't work for me. But really, it's just learn as much as you can and get as much as, and there's so much value out there that you can get, and then you start giving the value back, because that's where that's how the cycle goes. And just showing up will take you a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, to travel the distance, you need to be constantly topping up on the fares, so that you can go far. Right. So I guess in this industry, the topping up of the fares will be investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Keep investing in yourself, and then discover what lights your fire. What is the one thing you do that you do it better than other people on their best day, even when it's your worst day, right? Because that obviously has to be your talent, and it obviously has to be your gifts. Don't just count your gifts and talents. Make your gifts and talents count, because miracles happen when we are open.
Well, I hope all these quotes are in the deck that people are getting, because I wouldn't mind getting
Put it together. You'll be first to get.
Thank you.
Any last
Conor
words,
has a
Callum?
physical one, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
somewhere.
But I think back then
Uh-huh.
back then it was maybe just deck number 1, number 2, we're at number 7 now. I wanted to publish until number 10, but kids say, hey, look, those you mostly publish and just give it away. It's costing us money. So now we do it like more the soft copies, because a lot of our trainers found it useful using it as screensavers.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And then by looking at our quotes, they start getting inspired to write their own quotes in their own language that makes sense for them, because I like to create rhymes.
Yeah.
Because then the right brain that loves the artistic expression, start to be more engaged, right? But I can't do it in their language.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can. And
Yeah,
since that they too start publishing quotations, I'm like, yes.
There's something special about the NLP industry and its ability to not only cross continents but cross cultures, different religious backgrounds, demographics, and even beliefs systems. So I feel blessed to be a part of this community. It's one of the reasons why we love doing this podcast, the Unplugged podcast. We've had people from all over the world. I'm very, very passionate about our Asian friends. Being that we have a lot of friends in Malaysia and Singapore, we've got a lot of friends in Thailand. We've got a lot of friends now in Vietnam, which has been a new thing for us. But I see the Asian area of the market and just growing so rapidly with their willingness and passion for personal development, professional development. And I think it's something to pay attention to, and I think it's going to, I'm just really excited about it in the future. Conor and I really loved the experience that we had going to Vietnam. We'd love to do something similar in Singapore or Malaysia. We'd love to go to Thailand as well. So we're really happy to have you here. We're really happy to have both you, Kit, and Billy here. And hopefully we can all share the stage together one day.
That'd be great.
I'm so looking forward to that already. But by the way, it's not just the two of us. Maui is.
Maui, quite a cool
Maui
name.
is here. Maui is here.
Hello, Maui.
It's the start of the session.
All right, so
It's still his sleeping time.
Hey guys, Kallum and Conor here from Connect Coaching. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Unplugged podcast. We're jumping in to let you know about something really exciting. If you are a practitioner, a coach, or a trainer in the alternative therapy modality space,
The Forever Client Matrix is something that we've modeled in the last 30 combined years, both Connor and my experience. And we've turned it into a 2-day intensive, and we want to give you a preview of that Forever Client Matrix.
Absolutely.
We want to make the bar for them to enter into that program very, very low and have them get incredible results.
I've sold about $40 million worth, and together we've sold about $100 million worth with our teams.
That's right. We believe that trust and reliability is the currency of the future. So if you want to turn every transaction into a transformational experience, if you want to turn every prospect into a forever client, then please click on the link below in the description and get instant access now to your preview of the Forever Client Matrix.
Enjoy.